Right, so this is my Streetfighter V4S. I'm based down in Melbourne, Australia. Did the smart thing, subscribed to Dave Moss Tuning, fixed my bike immensely as I was getting the high-speed sort of wobbles coming out of corners when I'm putting the power on. The back end was just like, you know, a little bit wobbly, a bit scary at times. So, yeah, the first thing you definitely have to do is change the length of the rear spring to take some preload out of it. So that is now got 7 threads down here between this and the locking nut. So it's about 4 turns from my standard, but I think the best reference is how many threads. Now I'm a 90 kilo guy, 6 foot, 90 kilos, pretty stock average bloke. But that made a huge difference because it was just too stiff. So now I actually have some movement in the back and also some static sag. So it much improved, which has definitely stopped the rear end wanting to buck in the high speed. I'll go through my settings for my suspension. Let's jump into the suspension settings. Riding mode, I typically ride in sport, especially on the street, just because of the throttle response. So let's go to sport. Yes. Okay, typically riding dynamic suspension, just purely because on their, I think Ducati know a little bit more than I do. So let's go into dynamic suspension, custom dynamic suspension. Brake support is at 3. Front fork is at 2. Shock absorber at 0. Steering dampening at 2. It's a personal preference. I'm kind of going up higher as for more stability as I start riding a bit more aggressively. Okay, let's get out of that, and that's it. That's for dynamic suspension. Let's go into the fixed suspension settings. Custom fixed suspension. This is all in sport. Front compression 12. Front rebound 12. Rear compression 14. Rear rebound 16. Steering dampening 7. And out. So, and now we go into the race. Let's do ride in this mode when I'm on the track day. Get back. So get down to suspension. Here. Do dynamic suspension first. Custom dynamic. Brake support 4. Front fork 3. Shock absorber 2. Steering dampening 3. You get a few extras. Acceleration 1. And mid corner 1. And finally, let's finish off with the fixed suspension, a custom fixed suspension. Front compression 8. Front rebound 10. Rear compression 12. Rear rebound 12. Steering dampening 6. So yeah, that is my Ducati with the help of Dave Moss.